And freshmen, I know several of you have asked me, what is this class? And hopefully we'll be able to clear that up for you. Before we start, though, hey, Jenny, do you mind coming up here? So we're going to do a couple things. The first thing we are going to do is acknowledge everybody who made the Dean's List last semester. We have your certificate. So Jenny's going to help me hand these out, or Dr. Zimbar, if you want to help too. We're going to read your names, so please come on up if you're here. I know Kylie's not here today. Jordan Austin. Hunter Bishop. Hang on till the end so we can get through everybody. Hunter Bishop, Kate Boundy, Josh Bowman, Emmerich Butterfield, Ethan Button, Elijah Burns, Shelby Kane, transferred, yep. Isabella Caruso, Nathan Klepper is in the MIT, Chelsea Constable, Lillian, how do you say your last name, Lillian? De Grossayer. Okay. Carrie Draskovich, Tanel Andrizzi, Isabel Fisher, Jacob Foster, Braden Gilliam, Jacob Harden, Landon Hensley, Zeph Henson, Cadence Hawley, Tucker Jones, Michael Jones, Riley Keene, Damian Kinchlow, Jeremy Lucanas, Dalton Markley, Aiden Martin, Micah Maynard, Molly McGill, Yaya Mirsi, Giovanni Mishania, I kind of said that right, Benjamin Mullins. Did you guys know there are 2 Benjamin Mullins that are both music majors in our department? That's so weird. Okay. Oscar Acosta, Marcus Pack, Avery Polk, Madison Potterton, Catherine Rains, Josh Richardson, Elizabeth Rollins, Sarah Stacy, and Gabby Stoll. That's Marcus's. Oh, sorry. Rachel West. There's more of you. And Columbus Wedby. Almost 40% of the department was on the Dean's List, so congratulations to all of you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Did we get everybody? We should have done that before you all sat down. Okay. We have one more award today. So Pi Kappa Lambda is a music honors fraternity, and this is voted on by the faculty. We did this presentation at the end of the year last year, and somehow we forgot one person, and we really apologize. We're going to do that now. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Zimbar.
I'm president of the Theta Alpha chapter of Pi Kappa Lambda. So as Dr. Stevens said, there was one person that was inadvertently omitted from the ceremony last April. If you're an upperclassman, you might have remembered that. So would Carrie Draskovich please come to the stage? As president, one of the requirements is with this induction service, there needs to be a script read, so just bear with me. The members of the Theta Alpha chapter of Pi Kappa Lambda are assembled here today to initiate a new member of the society as elected by the faculty committee of the chapter. Pi Kappa Lambda is an honor society, the only music organization recognized by the Association of College Honor Societies. It was dedicated by its founders to the fostering of scholarly interest in the theoretical and historical aspects of music and to the pursuit of eminent achievement in performance, composition, music education, and research. The society was founded at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois in 1918. The first member was Peter Christian Lutkin, then Dean of the School of Music, whose initials in their Greek equivalent were selected for the name of the society, Pi Kappa Lambda. Those persons who today become members of the Pi Kappa Lambda have demonstrated both musical and academic excellence. They also possess qualities which have enabled them to achieve distinguished careers at East Tennessee State University, which are personal integrity, leadership, open-mindedness, and intellectual stamina. The emblem of the society is a visible expression of the honor and esteem with which each member is regarded. It is designed in the form of a Grecian lyre incorporating the ancient symbols of music and drama with the Greek letters of the society. It is particularly appropriate to remind the new members that the primary purpose of Pi Kappa Lambda is to recognize the highest levels of musical achievement and academic scholarship. Through this chapter in the national organization, we encourage you to maintain your professional standards and to use every opportunity to advance music as a vital part of our lives and cultural heritage. This induction ceremony is now concluded, and I invite all of you to join me in welcoming another new member of Pi Kappa Lambda.
You should have gotten an email from me that had 2 attachments. We are really excited to have 2 composition competitions right here in our department that have been generously funded by donors. And here to tell you more about that is Dr. Endicott.
Okay. So, like Dr. Stevens said, we have 2 competitions we run every year for student composers. It's open to everyone. You don't need to be taking composition lessons. You don't need to be taking a composition class. The 2 are the Songer Brass Chamber Music Composition Competition. This one, there's a few more rules to. Basically, it's open to any piece for brass chamber ensemble, so anything primarily or exclusively brass instruments. The one exception is it can be solo brass with piano. But any sized ensemble for brass instruments that doesn't need a conductor. That is important. So if you have a piece for 30 trumpets, probably not a good one for this, but maybe a quintet, great. And the other one is the Kent & Co. competition. This is open to absolutely anything. As long as it's an original piece of music, it can be for band, for orchestra, for choir, for chamber ensembles, solo, it can be fixed media, whatever you feel like writing. Completely open. Both of them come with a scholarship. Both of them come with a performance of your piece. There are due dates for when you need to submit stuff in the email that Dr. Stevens sent out. The Songer competition entries are due by the end of the year, so December 31st. The Kent & Co. is mid or end of January of next year. For both of those, you just need to submit a PDF of the score and the recording, which can be just a MIDI version of the recording. If there's not a score to the piece, if it's fixed media, you just need to submit the audio. And if you have questions about either of those, come track me down at some point, and I can answer any questions about that. One other thing while I'm up here is that I am doing a sort of open office hours tutoring session this semester every Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the downstairs lab in Mathis, so Mathis 105. If you're in one of my sections of Theory 2, I've already talked about it, but people in the other section of Theory 2 or anyone in Fundamentals, or you're done with theory but you have questions, I will be in that computer lab. Feel free to stop by. Okay, thanks.
We're going to come back to that. Dr. Kovacs can't be here until the end. All right, so there are 56 of you that are freshmen this year, which is incredible. But we would like all of you, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, to not only be students, but also graduates. So here to help us figure out how to do that is arguably and very, very truly the most important person in helping you get there, Paula Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens. Can everybody hear me okay? Great. It's so weird to see all of you in one room together because I'm used to seeing everybody one-on-one, but it's great. Okay. So my plan while I'm here is to pull up some of the stuff that we look at every time you come in for advising. So I'm just going to take a minute and log into Google. And remind.
Dawson, why does it hate us?
Does everybody know how to log into GoldLink? Yeah. Okay, that's a great start. So you don't have to watch me do it. The visuals usually help in the conversation, but I'm just going to get started without it now. So everybody has to meet with me or communicate with me for advising a minimum of once per semester. So you'll register for spring classes starting the first full week of November is when it opens. If we meet before then and you register on your own, awesome. If you need help this first go-around, try to get on my calendar now for early in November. I only have 440 advisees this semester, so that shouldn't be a problem. Will it pull up the page that you have before?
Hey, Dawson, can you call Tyler?
I believe it's a second screen, like extended screen. You need to like make it duplicate. It's the Windows plus P shortcut.
While they're working on that, let me just do a little quick, I know it's hard to find time to eat lunch, and you all are welcome to bring your lunch in here. But when you're done, please make sure you, pick up all your stuff and don't leave trash in here. And there's a big trash can out in the lobby, just put all your trash out there. Because if things start getting left in here and stuff, they're gonna take that away from us, so, just be good stewards and make sure you do it that way. Thank you.
What do you want to try?
Okay, everybody, I'm going to try just talking. So, where I left off. So you have to either meet with me or at least communicate with me via email once a semester for advising. So registration for spring classes opens up the first full week of November, and I'm primarily talking this through for the new students. Oh. Thanks. Do Do I have to start over? Okay, great. So registration opens the first full week of November, and it unlocks throughout that week based on your earned hours. So if you're an incoming student and you have 0 earned hours, then it's going to open for you towards the end of that week. And once it's open at the end of that first full week of November, then it's open for everybody. So you don't have to register immediately, but if you want the schedule that we discussed, it's best if you do. And if you want to come in and have help with registration, I'm happy to do that. I just can't do that for everybody because of the number of students that I'm working with. And you can always email me with questions. That's no problem. I think a lot of you already have my email. But it's sarahp@etsu.edu. Just please include your e-number. A lot of you have gotten a lot better about doing that. Thank you. So, what I plan on doing again this semester is loading stuff into Schedule Builder so that you all are ready to go with your music stuff. And then we can add in Compass Core general education classes to round out your schedule. And whatever else you're planning to take along with your major specific classes. Is everybody familiar with DegreeWorks? I tried to cover it with everybody that was coming in. Does everybody know where DegreeWorks is? Anybody? You're probably not going to raise your hand, but anybody not know where DegreeWorks is? So DegreeWorks shows everything that you have to complete to graduate. And it's going to be different for some of you coming in, a new catalog year, new general education requirements. Some of you current students are still on catalogs that are a couple years old, so your requirements are going to be different. So if you all talk to each other, it could be easy to get confused about what's required for some of you and what's required for other ones of you. If you have questions, just be in touch with me and we'll talk through the details. You can change catalog years. We can talk through what that looks like if that's something that's going to be helpful for you too. So here's DegreeWorks. Does anybody want to volunteer to be a test subject? What's your e-number?
007.
Sorry?
33815.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
Are you still okay with it? Is it still okay? Okay. Okay. So this is the worksheet view in DegreeWorks. When you click on the DegreeWorks icon, obviously it's going to show the worksheet view for what you have declared. So it shows your major and any other aspects to your program of study, including your catalog year, which is listed right here. So that's how you know what catalog year you're on. It's got your GPA, it breaks everything down by category. So by the time you're out of here, you want green check marks all the way down the left side of this page, right? So anything that's red, you know you still have to complete it. All these classes are hyperlinked, so if you want to browse through DegreeWorks and kind of plan what you're going to take and when before you come and meet with me, that's awesome. If you don't, that's also okay too, because we'll talk it through when we meet. But you can get a sense of what a class is like by looking at the course description and see how many credit hours it is. If the schedule's been built for the upcoming semester, you can see if it's in person, online, both, what kind of availability it still has, all that kind of good stuff. And in a lot of these categories, whether you're in Compass Core or the pre-existing Gen Ed, you have choices in a lot of those categories, so you can decide what's going to be best for you. So Gen Ed is first, or Compass Core, then your music major core, and then your concentration. And if you've declared anything else, it's going to be down here.
Paula, can you talk about the graduation requirements that aren't classes?
Yes. So you've got non-coursework music requirements that are listed here. So is it still the case, so you do the recital attendance requirements. Dr. Dedman does major field tests.
Yeah, we'll talk about recital attendance. It's a conglomeration of a lot of people.
So in a nutshell, these are requirements that you also have to complete that are not, strictly speaking, courses that you attend and get a grade in. But you have to have those green check marks down here.
And they're different for, if you're in a Bachelor of Arts
know, it's a good idea to know which degree you're pursuing too.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, ask me. I can help you with that. So that's DegreeWorks in a nutshell. What I have also tried to do just to make things easier for everybody involved, I've tried to build degree plans for everybody that's already been here so that we know what you have coming up in your future semester out to graduation. We can make changes to that, so if something happens and we need to adjust your degree plan, then we can do that. But that way, when I go into Schedule Builder, or when you go into Schedule Builder, I should probably show you how you get there. So Schedule Builder is right here under Registration Tools. So I'll have your music classes in there. As a lot of you, or most of you probably already know, a lot of your classes require permits and gold link. They're capped at 0, so not just anybody can register. Your applied lessons, theory classes, and a handful of other stuff requires that. So usually I'll put those in. Sometimes Jenny puts those in too, and we are very grateful to her for her help. So I try to put those in Schedule Builder and lock them down so that nothing goes sideways with those. If the permit's in, I'll lock it down in Schedule Builder. Just do your best if you go into Schedule Builder, try not to unlock those classes. I know Schedule Builder gets glitchy sometimes. Then I have to reconfigure things in order for you to be able to register. You can go into Schedule Builder and mess around with adding in gen eds, adding in electives, seeing what your scheduling options are. When you pick a schedule that you like, if it's before when registration opens, I would recommend favoriting that schedule, or even 2 or 3, rather than sending it to your shopping cart. Because if you send the schedule to your shopping cart too early, the stuff that you've picked out can fill up. And then when you go back into your cart to register, it might say that however many of the classes that you wanted to get into are full, and then you have to start over again in Schedule Builder. So you can pick your favorite, then send it to your shopping cart, and it'll flag something if it's full. But that way you've got a couple of other options. I feel like I'm skipping stuff. Does anybody have any questions about Schedule Builder, or how that works, or what I'm planning to do to kind of make that smoother? Okay, cool.
There will be a hold on your account until you meet with Paula. So you can't just go crazy and register for anything unless you've met with Paula, and only she's going to take that advisement hold off your account. So if you wait until the last minute and you want to register when classes open to get the GE times you want, and you haven't met with her, too bad.
I'm a little bit sympathetic sometimes, but I'm getting to be more grizzled in my old age. Some other stuff that's kind of jogging my memory while I'm in here. Under tools that I have as an advisor, there's DegreeWorks exception requests and catalog change requests and gen ed transfer course reviews. Just in case there's anybody that's come in as a transfer student and we haven't had this conversation yet, if you've brought in transfer credits that don't automatically satisfy general education requirements and you'd like them to be evaluated to see whether or not they can, get in touch with me. And or if you're on the new catalog in Compass Core and the same thing is true, get in touch with me, basically. If there's major specific classes that you've transferred in that aren't automatically satisfying a requirement, then be in touch with both Dr. Stevens and me, because he has the final say on those. And if you decide to change catalogs, I don't recommend going back and forth a bunch of times, but just so that you know, if you change your catalog year, you can change back. So it's not set in stone once you do it. It used to be a one-time change, but now they've allowed a little bit more flexibility with that.
Could you show them the what if, so if you want to look at what that might look like?
Yes. So let's say Tanner decided he wanted to explore what a Bachelor of Arts in Performance looked like. So you go to this what if function on your worksheet page. Make sure the catalog year is what you want it to be. Make sure the degree is what you want it to be. Leave it undergrad. Same major. Colleges, arts, and sciences. And then you have to jump down to all the So you can see exactly what you lack and what you've completed if you decided to make that change. And if it's something that you decide that you want to do, be in touch with your applied instructor because there is a process to submit a new audition form. It's not just something you can just decide to do and then it happens.
Let me reiterate that. You auditioned for a specific major, and your applied faculty said you could do that major. You can't jump, like, let's say you want to be a performance major and you're a music ed major. You can't make that decision on your own. You have to re-audition or at least discuss with your applied faculty members to get approval.
And you can also see the non-coursework requirements under these other options too, so be sure to pay attention to those. Just to reiterate, I guess, so the Bachelor of Arts degree option now does not require a minor. If you're still in the 2022 catalog, it does. That's come up a couple times recently. It may not still be something that anybody needs to iron out, but just in case. That's come up because of the new financial aid regulations about covering minors.
Can you talk about the college requirements in the BA?
Yes. So if you're on a catalog year prior to 2024, the Bachelor of Arts degree requires up to 4 semesters of a foreign language, which I try pretty hard to talk through with folks who are pursuing the BA, because that's a big deal, 4 semesters. I can send a link to a placement test if you want to hop forward in German, French, or Spanish. I think I've talked to everybody about that. But up to 4 semesters. And then a non-US history class and a math requirement that for all intents and purposes for most folks is province stats. But you can do calculus if you've met the prereqs. If you're on the 2024 catalog, the only requirement for the Bachelor of Arts degree is the foreign language requirement. Math and the non-US history are wiped out. So whatever you take for your Compass core, that satisfies those requirements. So you don't have to worry about taking things that double count. We used to talk about that all the time for humanities and non-US history.
That's a relatively big change for some of you that are sophomores, especially who haven't taken those extra classes in the BA tracks. Not the Bachelor of Music. But you may want to have that discussion with Paula about jumping forward to this year's catalog so you don't have to take those classes.
And there's a little bit more flexibility in the Compass core options than in the pre-existing gen ed. So it's really case by case, whatever is going to be a good fit for everybody. But yeah, I'd be happy to talk it through. If those are the kinds of things that you want to talk about, it's probably better to come in before things get really busy, because to do more than just kind of talk about classes and pick out schedules and that kind of stuff in the 30 minutes that we'll have later in October, it will be tricky to pack in more than that. So if you want to come in and meet with me and talk about some of these other things, do it soon. And you can either, I think you all know, but just to reiterate, you can schedule through the Navigate platform, or you can call our front desk and schedule through them if the Navigate platform is acting weird. I know it has for some folks.
The other thing I want to point out is the difference between the Bachelor of Music. So Bachelor of Music is music ed, performance. The Bachelor of Arts, composition, contemporary music, there's a performance variation there, and music history, is that foreign language requirement. That's a big block of time. It's 2 years. It's 4 semesters. So some of you who are like in the junior year of music ed, you go, oh, I no longer want to teach. I'm going to switch to VA Comp or VA Performance. That 4-semester block of language is still in front of you. So you really got to think, by the time you get to the end of the sophomore year, is this where I want to go? Because switching to the Bachelor of Arts with that language requirement can really set you back on time.
Yeah, it pays to be strategic about that for sure. There are ways to speed it up, but that's the exception, not the rule. And I was just going to say too, here under registration tools is a link to the academic catalog. If you all don't know where or what that is, that's where the listings for the requirements for all the undergraduate and want to go browse without doing a what if in DegreeWorks, or if you're thinking about a minor or whatever, you can go to the catalog and look here. Just make sure you're looking at the right catalog year for whatever is listed for you. But here's the 2024-25 catalog. So you can browse majors by alphabetical order. And so all the majors and degrees and concentrations are here. So you can always say, I don't remember exactly what's required for XYZ. So you can go here and everything's listed along with a whole bunch of other really important information at the top. A lot of verbiage about requirements outside of the specific courses that are listed in DegreeWorks. The requirements and then the suggested sequence. So you can see with no credits coming in, no transfer credits, no deviation from the norm, what the suggested sequence is. Okay. Any questions about any of that? Pretty cool. If you want to get on my calendar now for sometime in October, don't be shy. I have another major, a student already booked an appointment with me for October. And I was like, cool, that's good, be proactive. And then just don't forget about it. If you need to cancel, feel free to cancel in Navigate or call our front desk. If things come up, just let me know, it's not a problem. I know there are reasons for no-shows too, but I would really appreciate it if that wasn't the case. And thank you guys. I'm here for you, so let me know what you need, okay?
So as you heard Paula say, she's got like 440 students she advises. So we all procrastinate sometimes, but please make sure that you're not creating emergencies for her because she can't put out 440 emergencies. So don't email her and demand that you need to see her today. She can be your biggest ally, but she's also not here to solve all your problems. So please be conscious of that. All right, let's go back to this class. Freshmen, what is this class? So if you go to D2L, we're going to exit out of this. You all know how to get into D2L by now, I hope. And go to Symposium. The content, and we're going to look at the syllabus together really quick. So those of you who have been here before, 95% of your grade is what? Show up. It's actually 80% of your grade, okay? So, but basically, if you can read this, you need to be here, and that's really all we're asking. My name is on this course, but all of the music faculty are involved in putting this together. We all suggest speakers. We all have ideas. We took a lot of feedback last year. We asked all of you who were here last year about who you wanted to see. We can't fill every time, but we tried to get as many people as we could that fit those ideas. So basically, it's a rotating series of speakers every week. You're going to hear a different person come in that's a guest. Not only do we ask you to be here, we ask that you be a good audience member. You are all going to perform at one time or another over the course of your study here. Nobody wants to walk on stage as a performer and see a bunch of people staring at their phones or talking or asleep. So I know it's that time of day. We're all a little tired, but please be a good audience. We have a really good reputation with guests we've brought in. Word of mouth has traveled that like our students are great. It's fun to be. We've had people actually finally start to contact us about coming here because you've all been so awesome to our guests. So please keep that up. Please make sure that you're a good audience member because we've all been on both sides of the stage and we know what that feels like. Please be on time. Make sure you swipe in. If you are much later, we'll give you about 10 minutes of grace period, and then Josh is going to note it down, or whoever's swiping at that moment, that you're a little bit too late. But please make sure you swipe in, and as we talked about last week, new this year, you have to swipe out. That's the only way we know that you're here. Stay for the entire class period. Again, that's part of the swipe out that we're instituting this year. We already talked about no phones, no napping is the hard one. Please don't talk to your neighbor. And when they ask you to do things, we had some things last year that people were a little bit like, huh? We had some meditation speakers. And there were some students who were really hesitant to try it, but almost everybody, once they tried it, they're like, oh, I get it. That was cool. So go for the buy-in. Just give it all you got. Give it a whirl. It may not be for you, but you can say you tried it once. The only actual homework or assignment that you have to do is at the very end of the semester, you have to hopefully think about everything you've seen. And that's what we want you to do. We're just giving you ideas and information. We're not asking you to do anything during the semester. At the very end, Wednesday of finals week, you need to turn in a summary of what you've got. It's about 4 pages. So if you think about this, that's not very much. We're asking you to talk about no less than 5. So there's 14 people coming in this semester. If you're dividing that by 4 pages, you're still writing, a little bit less than half a page about each one. You don't have to write a huge amount. Like, how did this person say something that influenced you or made you think? What did you like about that presenter? You're welcome to include more than 5 people if you want to, but pick your top 5. And then it's just standard, 4 pages, double spaced, don't create huge margins, 12-point font, things that hopefully we all know as college students at this point. If you have questions about format, come ask me. Do not include a giant header that says, hi, my name is Tanner for 4 inches. Okay? So, again, you don't have to go to the library. You don't have to think that hard. I've also had people tell me why they thought a presenter was really not good, and that's okay. That's okay. If it made you think, and not just because I didn't like the outfit the person had on, but if the person said something that you really disagree with, that's okay. You can write about that. It made you think. All we want to see in this is that you thought about something and we didn't sleep. We also understand that things happen. So where'd it go? Attendance will be tracked for each session. Each session class amounts to 7.69% of your grade. So you get 1. Here's the freebie, okay? So you get 1. It really doesn't, it's nothing, okay? I will give you all 1. I get it. I trust you. You're all adults. Your grade stays 100%. Okay, if you miss the second one, that takes you down 7.69%, which still puts you in the A range, puts you in the A- range, okay? If you miss 2. And then it just keeps going down, and you can all do math there. So all you have to do is show up. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. Like, if you're in the hospital, that doesn't count. Email me. If you're on a PASIC trip or whatever, if it's an excused school absence, if, you're doing some performance, if it's excused, let me know. But if you just don't show up, then it just keeps going down. Okay, so communicate with me if something happens, and we're pretty reasonable people, and we will make sure that we do what we can. If, however, you miss something for, like, let's say all the percussionists go to PASIC every fall. It's a big conference for those of you who don't know what it is. When they're gone that Thursday, they are still responsible for that material because it's excused. So how do you view that? All of these are recorded every week, and after the week, then Dawson will put the link up in D2L. He doesn't know this yet, I forgot to tell him. Dawson's new, he learns all sorts of things. We'll put the link up in D2L to the recording, and you can watch it. But what that also gives you the ability to do is, I know that December 11th is a hot minute from now, so you may forget the presenter we have next week. So you can go back and watch all of them, or just watch pieces of them, and you can say, hey, I really like that person, but I don't remember everything they said. I'm gonna rewatch this video again, and then I'll write about it in my paper. It is 1 assignment, singular, okay? We still have people every year who tank the class. If you're doing math, yes, you can still get a C+, even if you don't turn in the final paper at all. It's 20% of your grade. But please don't get a C+ just because you don't get the final paper at all. Show up, write something down. I don't care if it's really bad. I do care. But I have to read all of them. And my favorite thing of the whole year is actually reading these, because it's amazing to me. Like, I can watch a speaker and be like, that was okay. And then 20 people write, that was the most amazing thing ever, and it makes me go back and rewatch it. So please don't be afraid to share your thoughts, positive or negative, in a professional way. Okay, that's the syllabus. If you want to see real quick who's up and coming, you can look. I put all the dates in here. Next week is Dr. Kimberly Masker. She works here at ETSU. She works over on the Med campus. She's going to talk to us about some really important things for musicians' health, like how do we maintain our health as musicians. And then you can read all the people that are coming through the rest of the semester. If you have any questions about speakers, let me know. You can look them up in advance if you want to. Any questions on what the class requires? Freshmen, you got it? Freshmen, the key is be here, and you will be fine, I promise. Okay. The next one, so music minors, I now give you permission to stare at your phone for a few minutes. If you're a music minor, I know you have to take this class twice, but this section does not apply to you. This applies to all the rest of us. So you should, and I need you to double check this, Paula was gonna say this, I think we forgot. You should also all be in Music 1111 recital attendance. Seniors, we can talk about it. Your catalog year doesn't actually require it, but hopefully you still are. This is for majors only. Minors, this does not apply to you. Just zone out for a second. So if you go back in here, you go back to D2L, you go to recital attendance, right here. You click on this. Here's where this gets really complicated, and please listen to this part carefully. This is a two-parter in D2L. There is nothing in this class that you need except the syllabus. When you click on this, you can get to the syllabus. The rest of this is somewhere else. But here is the syllabus. When do you have to finish this? You have until the day you graduate, well, days before you graduate to finish this. If you do not finish it, you will not graduate. And here's what this is. This is a list of requirements that you have to attend. So in the fall, you have to go to 8 different things, and we're going to talk about what those things are. You have a starter number right now, and I'll show you how to look at that. Freshmen, guess what? It's all 0. You're all at 0. Transfers, you're all at 0. We'll show you how to change that. The rest of you who have attended things before, you're at a certain number, and I'll show you where that number lives. You have to go to 8 different things this semester, so you have to move forward by 8. In the spring, you all have to sign up for you'll have to attend recital hours. It's not a class, but it's part of recital attendance. In the spring, it's at this time during Symposium in the spring, recital hour. And you don't have to sign up for it as a class. It's part of this, which is 0 credit, and we did that so none of you have to pay anything. But you still have to come to recital hour, and you have to hit 11 of those in the spring semester. Don't overwhelm yourself thinking about spring quite yet. Just know that you have to save this time in your schedule, which Paula will make sure that you do. So what do you have to go to? You have to, all together, you have to go to all of these things over the course of your time here. So there's 14 vocal performances, 24 instrumental performances, just because it's a little more varied, and then 44 of those recital hours. So that's 11 every semester, 11 every spring semester, that's built in. You can read all these, you're smart people. But let's talk about what these are. Down here, this is university or professional events only. You cannot go watch your 8-year-old niece give her piano recital and go ding, 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 ding. That doesn't count, okay? It has to be an adult, high school, middle school, pre-college, or youth. Those do not count, okay? So when you turn that program in, and we'll tell you how to do that, those don't count. Community bands, cool. So if you want to go watch Dr. Zembauer with the Johnson City Community Band, go see the Johnson City Civic Chorale, that stuff counts. Those are adults. Community choirs are acceptable. Community bands are acceptable. Here's a tricky one. Mixed events do not count. If you go to something that's got like one string plays, one percussionist plays, one person sings, it doesn't fit in a category. You should go to that because you're a musician and you want to hear cool things and you're expanding your horizons, but unfortunately, it doesn't fit in the categories that you just read. So go to it, enjoy it, don't turn it in. Events, here's the big one, events in which you participate do not count. Okay, you cannot turn in, if you're only in half the concert even, you really can't turn that in. Okay, so let's say you're in concert band. How are you going to get your concert band requirements then? We want you to go find other things, okay? So go see Milligan's concert band, go see the Johnson City concert band, community band, but do other things. If you're in the choir concerts, just because you're in chorale and you're still watching Bells and Bucksworth, it doesn't count. You got to go watch other things. So you can't turn anything in that you're in. Transfer students, you may be sitting here going, I've only got 2 years at ETSU. How am I going to get all this? Don't worry. We reduce it. So if you transferred in and you're only planning to stay 1 year at ETSU, you only have to go to 11 total. So it's just 30%, about 1/3. If you're going to stay 2 more years, it's 23 total. If you're staying 3 more years, it's 29 total. If you have questions, transfer students, please just come talk to me, and I'll help you figure out what you have to attend. We don't split it out differently. You can choose, like if you're here for 2 more years, you can choose any 23 of these. It doesn't matter, but you just have to hit 23. And then you can hit, sorry, I should clarify that, 23 of any of the vocal performances and instrumental performances. Recital hours are always 11 per semester, per spring semester. So transfers, if you're here 2 more springs, you've got to hit 22 recital hours total. That's a lot of information. Does that make sense, freshmen, new students? Cole? Aha, good question. Those of you who've been here before, what's the answer? As long as you're inside the door, okay? So don't bank on it. If you have to go to a piano recital and you're the usher that Dawson says you need to be outside the door, you can't count it. So don't bank on getting credit for it just because you sign up for it. But that's a good question, Cole. What else? Anybody? Freshman, you got it? Okay. So if you have questions as you go along, ask other people that have been here. Ask me, ask Jenny. We'll help you. This doesn't cost anything. It's a 0 credit class, but we instituted the class in DegreeWorks a few years ago so that you could make progress forward and you could see this. If you don't hit your 8 this semester, you get an F on your transcript, which kind of sucks because when you're handing your transcript to an employer, they don't know if that's an A, B, C, D, E, F class, you're going to get an E, or if it's a pass-fail class. This is just a pass-fail class. So you have this F on your transcript. They also don't know that it's a 0 credit class because that doesn't show up on your transcript. So it looks crappy. So are we saying that we instituted this class to try to scare you into getting it done? Yes. I'm going to be honest, because we just had too many people who were done with all of their classes and they didn't have this done. We still have people hanging out there who have finished every single class but didn't do this and do not have their degree. And that's not a threat. I'm just being honest. You cannot graduate without doing this. And some people think, oh, I don't want to go to this. I'm sorry, but you have to do it. It's not fair to all the people who did. So you've got to do it. Just get it done, please. 8 a semester in the fall, then you pass. If you hit 8, you go from 0 to 8, freshmen. The magic number is 8. You got to turn that in. How do you turn it in? Okay, this is where the 2-part thing goes. In D2L, you have to go back home. And you all should, if you don't have this, please let me know. This is really important. This is kind of your lifeline. You should have this, the first one that shows up on my screen, the ADMN music. Oh, shutting down. Okay. We were basically done with that anyways. But, so when you go into that ADMN thing, there's a Dropbox. Freshmen, you may not be familiar with what Dropbox is yet, but hopefully you've had something similar to it in high school. High schools typically have some sort of process like this. So when you go to that recital, you're going to take a picture of it and put your name on it and take a picture of it. So write your name on it and take a picture of it. You submit it. There's a different Dropbox for every area. There's a woodwind Dropbox, there's a percussion Dropbox, brass, piano, strings, vocal. They all go to different people because there are a lot of you. If you notice, Dr. Potterson's actually the person giving you the grade this year. So he's the person who's over all of this. I'm not doing it anymore. So he's taking over the actual grading portion of it. When you submit those, though, it goes to different people. So if you submit as a woodwind or, Dr. Perry, what's your other one? I thought I said Dr. Perry. Nope, nope, okay. Dr. Perry does woodwinds and percussion, okay? So woodwinds and percussion go to Dr. Perry. If piano and brass goes to Dr. Waller, all vocal goes to Dr. Ramey. So strings, where do you go? Dr. Perry? Okay, so if you don't know, I'll double check that. I should know this, but I don't. They are the ones that go into the Dropbox. I don't do that. Neither does Dr. Potterton, even though Dr. Potterton gives the grade at the end of the semester. So they will go in and they will say, oh, you took a picture of this program, you put your name on it, and then you upload it to the Dropbox. If you don't know how to do that yet, freshmen, talk to other people in this room. They will help you. And then they will check off. There's a long list, which is the only thing I really wanted to show you in D2L. So you can go into D2L, and it will show you everything that you've got to do. There's basically it's a grade book for all of those. And if you've done it, it has a little 1 in it. If you haven't done it, it's empty. So by the end of it, you have to get to 82 at the end. The only one that stacks up is recital hours. So it's going to go from 0 all the way up to 44. So every time you do another one, it'll add. Those get added at the end of the semester. Everybody understand what you're looking at? That grade book is not in the recital attendance class. That's where this gets really confusing for new people. And that is because we have no way to get that class to roll forward every single semester. You have to enroll in this every semester. So we created that ADMN administrative group for music, and that way we can keep it year after year after year after year, so you can see how you progress all the way through. But so to look at your progress, you have to go into that ADMN group, and to submit your actual recital pictures, you have to go into that ADMN Dropbox. Any questions on that? Freshmen, I know this gets confusing. This is where we lose people. If you have questions, again, I think the best resource is talk to other people in the room. Emmerich? You do, sorry, I forgot about that, thank you. So after the recital, there will always be a long line. Any faculty member that's in the room can sign it. Jenny can sign it, Dawson can sign it. Anybody that knows that you were here, but they will not sign it until the end. Okay, so don't walk up to them as the recital's starting and say, hey, will you sign this? The answer will be no. They will sign it at the end to make sure that you stay for the whole thing. They will, then you can take a picture of it, and then you can put it in the Dropbox. Thank you, Emmerich, for saying that. Yeah.
So, we submit our attendance to the section in which we are, or?
Yeah. So what's your instrument?
Strings.
Strings. So there's a strings box, Dropbox, so put it in that one.
I couldn't tell if we were supposed to do that or submit it based on the recital we saw.
No, that's a good question. So it's your instrument, not what you just saw. That's a great question. Yeah.
I have a few signed programs from recitals here from last year, and I forgot to submit them. Can I still submit them, or am I out of luck?
Oh, John, you forgot to submit something. Yes. You can, but please don't make that a habit. Don't submit like 30 recital programs at the very end. It also looks a little suspicious if you are set to graduate and suddenly you come up with 60 programs that you borrowed from somebody else. Please make sure you do that. So your name on the program and get it signed by a faculty member, so that way we know it's you. Put that picture in there. Yeah. You can't. I don't make the rules here. I literally did not make the rules for this. So you need to go somewhere else and watch something. And you only have to watch, I don't have the list died, but I think it's 2, 3. It's not a lot. So over the next 4 years, go see some other band. I mean, it's just 3 times. Hopefully you'll watch Johnson City Community Band, Milligan's Band, I Don't Care Band. I mean, like last year we had the Marine Band here. That counts. So there's other bands that we'll bring in, but you can't turn in a program if you're in it. Look, Jeremy. Marching band does not count. It specifically says concert band. I think Dawson's put almost everything in there. So if you have a question, Jeremy, about something you're not seeing, ask Dawson. I think we've got everything in there. Tanner, real quick. You ruined my surprise. Okay. Almost 60% of you are music ed. Here's faculty at the end of last year, we had this discussion, and we were selfishly tired of tracking those extra 6 that you had to do. They're gone. Okay? So, if you look at the new syllabus that I had up there, that list is for everybody. So music ed, you do not have to do those extra 6 anymore. So they're kind of, Dr. Zembauer and Dr. Ramey are going to, like if you're in choral methods, you need to go see a choir and write something about it. Dr. Zembauer may ask you to go watch a high school band for band methods. Dr. Lohman may ask you to go watch a high school marching band for marching band methods. We're gonna put it in different ways, but we're not gonna make it part of this because it was too ridiculous to track and have you do extra. So everybody just has that list. If you already did them, congratulations, you're a better person for it, but they're gone. Okay, so yeah, music ed, hopefully that will help you. You don't have those extra 6 anymore. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, this is really helpful, especially for the Benjamin Mullins. If there's a lot of names that are similar, like it is super important. You guys, thank you for reminding me all this. I'm forgetting everything today. I had all my notes in the PowerPoint. You have to put your E number on there too. But like some of you have incredibly similar names. Some of you also have handwriting that looks like I don't know what. I don't have any idea. So even if we can't read your name, the E number helps us figure out who it is. Dr. Ramey and Dr. Perry and Dr. Waller are nice people, but if they have to spend too long figuring out who it is, it's just delete and it goes away. So please make sure that it's legible. They don't have time to figure out everybody's programs if you can't read it. Any other questions, real quick? Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't know. That's a Paula question. Ask Paula.
What do they do if there's not a program?
Thank you, Jenny. If there's not a program, the easiest thing to do is, as politely as possible, if they're asking you not to use your phone, is take a picture of the performance. If you can take a little selfie of yourself with the performance, that helps us know that you were actually there. Some things have digital programs. In that case, you're gonna wanna take like a screenshot of the digital program, but still take a picture of yourself that's there. You can upload multiple pictures in the Dropbox, but please make sure you're putting those in there. Anything else I forgot? Yeah.
So what if you hit 44 before the last semester?
You're done. You're not required, you're not required to go to recital hour after you hit 44. So, I hope that you all enjoy recital hour. To me, it's kind of the most fun thing we do, getting to see each other perform. But once you hit 44, you're good. Cool. Oh, yeah. Programs off campus. That's a little fudgy. You can kind of like, if you can get somebody to sign it afterwards, but if it's like incredibly awkward, like, you just saw the Marine band, you don't really want to go up to the Marine commander and be like, hey, will you sign my program? It gets a little weird. So if there's really nobody to sign your program, just again, the best thing to do, and we live in a world where you can all take pictures of yourself, just take a picture of yourself at the event that clearly shows you're at the event. And then Dr. Waller and Dr. Ramey and Dr. Perry know that you were there, and that's the easiest way to do it. Ellie?
Are you allowed to get recital credits over the summer?
Yes, you can. So the Dropbox is closed over the summer, but just like John was talking about older programs, you can put in other programs. So, if you did anything over the past 3 months, that's fine. You can put it in. Drop it in now. It's open. All right. Any other questions? Really quick. We all got that basic idea?
The Symphony has their kickoff concert at Windbeer Park on Sunday,
Okay, there were a couple other things that I really wanted to pull out of the ADMN group, but we'll have to do it later. The most important one is this. There's two things. So some of you are leading up to recitals. We have incredible collaborative pianists here. You know, we have Dr. Song, we have Marissa Mathia, Louisa Pang. We have awesome people. We have Ms. Paulini who will play with you. But they love you, but they are not working for free, okay? This isn't a charity place. So you all get 1 hour of rehearsal per semester with a pianist, and they know that, okay? So you can sign up for one of them, email them, say, hey, I would like to use my 1 hour of rehearsal for whatever. So if you're doing a piece with piano for your jury, I would save it for that, so you can practice for your jury. Whatever, you know, if you're getting ready for studio recital and you're doing a piece with whatever, you don't have to use the whole hour at once. You could do half hour one time and half hour another time, but you can work that out with whoever. Most studios are working with one pianist. For instance, like Tuba Youth is working with Louisa Pang, and vocalists, you're mostly working with Dr. Song. So if you're not sure who your pianist is working with your studio, ask your applied professor. If you want to do more than an hour, that's on you. So like if you're getting ready for your senior recital and you want 5 hours of rehearsal with your pianist, that's cool. But in D2L, you go to that content in ADMN, there is a student pianist contract, and you need to use that, and your pianist will ask you to use that. And that basically says, I agree to pay this much, and we will do this much time, okay? And that's just an easy way to do it so that nobody is in trouble. You don't have expectations that you don't have to pay a certain amount, and the pianist doesn't have expectations that they're gonna do all this time and not get paid. They may ask you to pay up front, okay? That's just the way it works. And all of you as professional musicians, you know this. There's nothing worse than being told, oh, it's exposure, come play for 3 hours. Screw your exposure, okay? So, I mean, that's not cool. Don't ask other people to do things for free, even though they're here, okay? So if you want to use the collaborative pianist staff, they're awesome, they will work for you, but you have to pay them if you're gonna do more than an hour a semester. Make sure you look at that contract, make sure you understand that contract. No one's gonna play for your senior recital or junior recital without that contract. Is that clear? Okay, so just make sure you're honoring their needs as well in terms of getting paid. Student Advisory Committee. So this is new this year. One of the things, last year we had the NASM visit. That's the National Association of Schools of Music, for those of you who were here. They had a listening session with the students. They said there were a lot of things they enjoyed hearing, other things they didn't enjoy hearing, and they didn't feel like we had a very good mechanism for communicating between students and us as faculty. So we had this before. This was something that Dr. Potterton started when he was chair pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and we never put it back in place until now. And this is the Student Advisory Council. So we asked every faculty member to nominate one student from their studio. So we have, you know, one flute, one trumpet, one yada, yada, yada. Because there are more vocalists proportionately, we have 3 vocalists. So there's different people, and then we have a specific person on there for comp. And I had all these people on the screen. For some reason, it's not working. But if you're on the Student Advisory Committee, will you stand up? Council. Okay. So, yes. Stay up for 1 second. So look, I'm asking you, legitimately look at who your person is for your studio. And if you have something that you want them to bring up, please go talk to them. We had our first meeting last night, and I was so impressed. Like, you guys can sit down. But it was just incredible, the conversation. They had some really smart insights about things that would make the department run a little bit better. And it was an awesome conversation. It was an awesome night. So we're going to try and meet once a month. It's not just me at these meetings. We're going to try and invite other faculty to come listen. Dr. Swafford was there last night. So we want to hear from you. We don't want to hear, music history is hard. Okay, I get it. But if you have something that you actually think would help everybody, and how the department runs, or how it moves, or how, like, jury signups, anything like that. We talked about all sorts of stuff last night, from changes that might make the music ed curriculum better, to changes in how we recruit students. So please feel like you can communicate through these people. If you really don't want to, if it's something to do with your studio, we had something like that, you can talk to other students. But we are hoping that this becomes a thing where we can all communicate better and things don't fester and grow, and we can get them out and talk about them and hopefully make the department run a little smoother. And all of you who are on the advisory committee, thank you for doing that and time. It's going to be not a ton of time, but it is time, so thank you for giving that up. That slide we skipped over in the beginning, we have something new and exciting this year, and here to talk to you about the concerto competition is Dr. Kovac.
Hey, so we have a good news for this year. In the spring, we're going to hold our first concerto competition with the orchestra. And the application deadline will be November 1st for the preliminaries, and you have to submit a video, YouTube video with the pianist. So what you need to do if you are interested in trying out is pick a piece with your teacher, with your applied teacher, and make sure that it gets approved by me and them first, because, for example, Prokofiev, piece, concerto, can be up to like $1,200 to rent. Or if it has like harp and 17 percussion and some really, that could cost us up to like $3,000. So it has to be something that we can do within our budget and our group. So before you pick a piece, make sure you talk to your teacher and me, so I can check and see if they're, because usually Prokofiev, for example, the cello concerto is $1,200 to rent, just for the rental parts. So, and then if it has like harp and 3 tubas and some weird instrumentation, that can be also difficult. But most concertos are not bad. The limit will be 15 minutes, so pick a movement that's within the range. And our finals will be on November 20th, Wednesday. It'll be in the Powell Hall. So November 1st is the deadline, so start thinking about it now if you want to do it. Check the piece, then you can email me, double check to make sure that's okay. And then the submission, you have to submit it with the piano, so find a pianist and make sure you can do that. Do you guys have any questions about it, or? Yes? Well, no, it should be percussion and orchestra. Usually every orchestra piece will have a piano reduction, so you record the piece with piano. So every concerto should have a piano reduction, for performance. So the audition is not going to be with orchestra. The audition is going to be with piano. Any other questions?
Freshmen, do you all understand what a concerto is?
Concerto is when you stand alone in front of the whole orchestra and play like a trumpet concerto with solo trumpet and the whole orchestra. So it's a really high pressure gig. So if you don't think you can handle it, wait a year or two. If you think you can nail it and you have played 7 already in your high school, go for it, audition, It's in Grand Hall, we usually have about 500 people, so it is a high pressure job. We want you to have the experience, but it's not easy. We also only have few rehearsals in a concert, so you gotta be good at this. But you should definitely go try, talk to your teacher, and they can suggest to wait or they can suggest to go for it. But it's important you pick the piece correctly, because if it's too long or if it's too complicated to rent, we cannot do it. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to talk to you, okay?
And Dr. Kovac put together an information sheet that I will did I email you that? Okay, I didn't. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, the Google form for the application, but I'll send out the information sheet. In addition to playing with the orchestra, you also get a $500 cash prize. So it'll be a big honor, and I'm really thankful that Dr. Kovac is giving up time on the concert to do this. So if you're interested if you have any questions, I think the first stop would be your applied professor, and then they can talk to Dr. Kovac about that. Cool. All right, we're a little bit early. Any other things anybody wants to add? Student Advisory Council members, you want to add anything about last night real quick? Pizza was good. Yeah. Are you moving in, Jeremy? I mean, is the student workroom's locked over the weekend, isn't it? We did. Yeah. I don't know, Jeremy. I'll see if I can move it somewhere. I don't know where to move it. We'll see. That's a weird question. Anything else? Okay, here's the good news. Jenny just told me that one of the swipers, just the battery, I guess today is the day of battery death, but you don't have to swipe out today. We'll see you next week.